What if I told you that the Earth has tilted? Not in a sci-fi movie, not in a future apocalypse, but right now, in our time. In the year 2023, scientists made a discovery that left even the most seasoned geophysicists stunned. Earth's rotational axis, the invisible line that decides where the North and South poles sit, has shifted. Not by a millimeter, not by a centimeter, but by 31.5 inches, almost a full meter. And this didn't take thousands of years. It happened within just 2 decades. But here's the real twist. This isn't some natural geological process. We did this. Human beings, through one seemingly harmless habit, have thrown off the balance of the entire planet. And the world is reacting. The axis of anomaly. Scientists have long known that Earth's axis wobbles. Like a spinning top, it naturally shifts over time due to movements in the Earth's molten core and large-scale glacial rebound. But this was different. Between 1993 and 2010, Earth's axis veered eastward, a movement of about 80 centimeters. And researchers from the Korea Institute of Geoscience and Mineral Resources finally pinpointed the cause in 2023. Groundwater. We've been draining underground aquifers at alarming rates to irrigate crops, feed cities, and power industries. But where does all that water go? It doesn't stay underground. It moves into rivers, oceans, and eventually into the atmosphere. And like shifting weight on a spinning top, it changed Earth's balance just enough to tilt the axis. Why is this alarming? You might be thinking, so what? It's just a meter, big deal. But here's the terrifying truth. The axis isn't just a random line. It affects the entire orientation of the planet, including weather systems, seasons, climate stability, and even satellite navigation. A minor change in the tilt can lead to chaotic monsoons in South Asia, longer, hotter summers in Europe, brutal winters in North America, sudden shifts in ocean currents. And this isn't theory. These are patterns scientists are already beginning to observe. Old warnings ignored. What's even scarier, we were warned. In the early 2000s, NASA's GRACE satellites were launched to monitor Earth's gravity and water distribution. They detected massive water loss in regions like the North China Plain, California's Central Valley, northern India's aquifers. But no one listened. No World Summit, no urgent action, no headlines. Now, the axis has moved. The damage is done. The Earth's axis has shifted. But what does that really mean for us, the people living under this tilted sky? This isn't just a line on a map. It's a shift in the entire equilibrium of life on Earth. And now, the chain reaction has begun. Rising sea levels, a global time bomb. You see, when groundwater is pumped out of the Earth, it doesn't just vanish. It ends up in the oceans. In fact, studies show that groundwater pumping alone has contributed to over 6% of global sea level rise since the 1990s. That may not sound like much until you realize it's millions of gallons every single day. Now pair that with a shifting axis, and what do you get? Ocean redistribution. The Earth's tilt is now sending more water towards certain parts of the globe, increasing sea level rise in places like the Gulf of Mexico, parts of Southeast Asia, coastal Africa, and the Indian subcontinent. Entire cities may vanish, not because of melting glaciers, but because we stole too much water from under our feet. 2. Chaotic weather patterns. Earth's climate is a finely tuned machine. Every degree of axial tilt controls where the sun shines the longest, how jet streams flow, where clouds gather, and when rains fall. Now, that balance is broken. Scientists are noticing more extreme floods, longer droughts, and sudden heat waves in regions where it never used to happen. We're not just changing the climate, we're scrambling nature's calendar, says climatologist Dr. Eva Ricci. Imagine crops failing because rainy seasons come too early. Entire ecosystems collapsing because flowers bloom too late. Birds migrating to the wrong place at the wrong time. It's a climate roulette, and every spin affects lives. The magnetic field theory, chilling old hypothesis. Here's where it gets even stranger. Some scientists have speculated for decades that changes in Earth's axis may influence magnetic pole reversals. Yes, you heard that right. The north and south magnetic poles have been shifting rapidly in recent years, and while the exact cause isn't confirmed, axial tilt and core instability may be connected. What happens if the magnetic field collapses, even temporarily? GPS and satellite failure? Increased exposure to cosmic radiation? Power grid blackouts? Mass animal disorientation? It sounds like sci-fi, but this has happened before, and it could happen again. The last pole reversal was 780,000 years ago. Many experts believe we're overdue. Biodiversity at risk. From monarch butterflies in North America, to elephants in Africa, to fish populations in the Pacific. Nature runs on a rhythm. The axis helps guide animal migrations, plant growth, hibernation cycles, and reproduction. With a shifting axis, we're watching an invisible massacre unfold. Coral reefs bleaching faster than ever, insects emerging out of sync with plants, marine species moving to colder waters, disrupting fisheries. This isn't just an environmental problem. It's an economic and humanitarian disaster in slow motion. The butterfly effect is real. One shift leads to another. A tilted planet leads to a tilted future. And unless we stop what we're doing, this isn't just Earth's problem, it's ours. We're draining the Earth dry. But why? Why would we pull trillions of gallons of water from deep within the planet, knowing the risks? The answer is simple and terrifying. Because without groundwater, civilization collapses. 1. The silent backbone of modern agriculture. Over 70% of all groundwater extracted is used for agriculture. Yes, the food on your plate, the bread, the rice, the vegetables, it all comes from water hidden deep underground. In places like California's Central Valley, the fruit basket of America, India's Punjab region, the grain bowl of South Asia, the Middle East, deserts turned into farmland. Farmers rely on groundwater because rainfall isn't enough anymore, and climate change is only making it worse. But there's a dark trade-off. We're saving crops today by destroying the planet tomorrow. 2. Megacities built on thirst. Cities like Mexico City, Tehran, Beijing, and Dhaka are literally sinking. Why? Because groundwater is being sucked from beneath them faster than it can be replenished. It's called land subsidence, and it's already happening. Buildings are cracking, roads are warping, water mains are bursting, foundations are collapsing. And the worst part? Once those underground reservoirs collapse, they can never be refilled. This isn't just a shift in the axis, it's a shift in how we live. Governments ignored the red flags. Decades ago, hydrologists warned world leaders, we're using groundwater faster than it's replenishing. We're overdrawing the bank account. But instead of stopping, nations doubled down. Subsidized electricity for pumping, free access to deep aquifers, no tracking, no regulations. It became the Wild West of water. And now, we're facing the consequences, not in theory, but in motion. Historical theories and strange predictions. Ancient Persians used qanats,
underground channels to move water without disturbing natural aquifers. They knew if you upset the underground balance, the surface pays the price. Fast forward to the 20th century. A Soviet experiment called Project Vega in the 1970s attempted to manipulate groundwater flow for agriculture using controlled explosions underground. The result? Minor tremors, ground shifts, abnormal magnetic fluctuations. It was quickly abandoned and buried in classified files. Today, we may be repeating the same mistake, not with bombs, but with wells. We're addicted and running out of time. Here's the paradox. We can't stop using groundwater. But if we don't, we tilt the earth further. We sink our cities deeper. We risk ecological collapse. It's not just a water crisis anymore. It's a planetary emergency.